What's up everybody, I'm quickly interrupting ahead of this video. Welcome to the channel of course, but quickly wanted to shout out the Signal group we have, which is a group in which I share all of my trades. For example, also this maker trade that we took over the course of this week. But we also, for example, bought Bitcoin at 101,000, which hopefully it's still trading higher at this point of time, but it went to 107,000. But I also released a new trading guide in which I fully explain one of the main strategies that I use to trade. So not only will you get profitable signals, you're also able to learn how to become a profitable trader yourself. So if you want to join, that sounds interesting, links will be down in the description. For now, enjoy the video. Bye. Good morning everybody, welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great and welcome to this new video right here on XRP. We're going to do a full update, which is also very necessary of course after last night, in which we saw an escalation between Israel and Iran, right? And that has forced prices down. Now yesterday when we had broken down below 2.25 and 2.28, which I also did not expect, but we already spoke about that yesterday, right? I mean, when we were still trading here above the level at 2.25, 2.28, I thought it was most likely we could get into 2.42. But yesterday with the pullback, there already was a little bit of tension increasing between Iran and Israel. So that pushed the prices of XRP below this level around 2.25. So yesterday morning, I already said, I think it's most likely we are going to pull back lower into that level at 2.17. So luckily, if you watched the video, you were prepared for that. But the fundamental developments obviously pushed the prices down lower. All right, so we dropped down all the way to that value area low level right here, around 2.08. We did not hit the value area low, and I think in general, you know, the reaction that XRP has had to this level so far is actually not bad. And I think on the higher time frames, to start off with that, before we talk about the lower time frames here, I think on the higher time frames, XRP is perfectly positioned to remain relatively stable. I don't really see any indication, or personally, I do not really have any fear that XRP is going to lose its main support level, which you could argue is 2.07, but as most of you know, we also have a buffer of support all the way down to 1.95. And even though I think further bearish pressure and further downwards momentum is a possibility, that's fully dependent on the fundamentals and the development of the fundamentals, mainly in the Middle East right now. But who knows what can be added on top of that? I mean, there's quite a lot of different geopolitical tension points from which we could get this bearish pressure. So even though I think that's a possibility, and I would even go as far as saying that that is most likely, right? I mean, so far, if we go across the market, so if you take a look at Bitcoin, if you take a look at stocks, the reaction hasn't really been that severe, even though I would say, you know, oil prices going up that much and just in general gold breaking out. That would for me mean a little bit more than just a bounce into the 200 EMA right here on the daily time frame, right? So therefore I would say short term, yes, we can pull back lower, but ultimately I don't and that's also the strong reaction we've had so far. It's also one of the reasons why I don't expect that, but I don't really expect XRP losing this consolidation that we've held since the 1st of December. I mean, even all those tariffs and all the news around that, which potentially, at least for the financial markets, you know, was worse than what's going on right now, in my opinion at least. And only in terms of the financial markets, right? I mean, obviously not in regards to human life, but I think that speaks for itself. But even then, XRP, yes, we deviated below the range, but we reclaimed it, right? So I don't think these fundamentals are bad enough to push us below the range. I don't think they're bad enough for Bitcoin to push Bitcoin below the range, and XRP is very correlated to Bitcoin still, as most of you know. So therefore, I would say it's most likely for XRP that, yes, zooming in a little bit more, that yes, it is probably most likely that we are going to drop down lower here, maybe get some sort of a 3-drive pattern, but that from there, from that area between 2.07 or 2.08 and 1.95, we will find enough support to bounce back up and eventually also rally back into 2.42. So those are my thoughts, and like I said a little bit earlier, it is very much dependent on the fundamentals, right? So if we see de-escalation with the fundamentals already over the course of today, or over the course of the New York Open today, for example, then this could have also been the bottom. So it's relying on that. But I would say, you know, at this point of time in the entire situation, I would say this is best to assume is going to happen. So those are my thoughts. That's what I think you need to know. For now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.